Hey everybody, welcome back. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I sincerely appreciate it and appreciate any comments about any of the topics that I believe are relevant to most men today. So today, I want to talk about why I can't get a job. So, as anybody who tunes in regularly can discern, it's been a while since I've worked. I have not actually worked since January of 26. So it has been, today is the 21st of July. So it's been almost 7 full months since I last worked. And I've been actively searching for the past 7 months and have probably put out I'd say at least 6 resumes for positions every week, sometimes more. On a weekly basis since January, and have had 3 interviews in that time, screening interviews, and have not heard, I heard from one position that I was not moving to the finalist list. The other 2, it's been a while, it's been about a month, so I'm anticipating the thanks but no thanks call or email any day now. So usually it takes about a month to get that once they get their candidates finalized for the next round. So why can't I get a job? Well, I think one of the most obvious reasons is while I have considerable experience in my field, 26 years to be exact, if I were 50, if I were 45 or I was 50, I would probably have a job by now. I'd probably have my pick of jobs by now. But being almost 61, I am pretty much toast at this point. And while, people will say, there are laws against age discrimination and so on and so forth, the bottom line is you have to prove it. And we all know that's next to impossible, because they can, for any reason, say, hey, the reason we didn't hire him is, we had better candidates, and it's not like Discovery is not going to give you everyone's resume, but to be honest with you, I'm getting to the point now where it just doesn't matter anymore. Should you be in the position in your 60s where you're actively looking for your next job, like in desperation, not by choice? Probably not. But that's where we're at. And I know for a lot of you young guys out there, because I remember those days, even getting your first real professional break or getting a job that actually pays a wage that's worth getting out of bed in the morning. I remember those days too. Even though I'm a little older, being an early Gen Xer, we had a lot of lean years in my generation, much more so than the baby boomers. And you couldn't just walk down the street and get a job that paid a living wage. I couldn't afford to buy a house until I was in my almost 40s. So things were not easy. And a lot of us, because of that, and in my generation, and this will be the case for, I think, a lot of millennials and particularly Gen Z, is because you're really late out of the gate. If you are one of the fortunate ones that actually can build a career and make decent wage and so on, starting late means you're behind the eight ball on everything. You're behind the eight ball on savings. You're behind the eight ball on retirement planning. You're behind the eight ball on purchasing a house. You're behind the eight ball on being debt free. And all of those things matter. And as you get older, you see exactly why they matter more. You don't have the opportunity to work your way out of debt. You don't have the opportunity to work off your mortgage. You don't have the opportunity to put those extra checks away for retirement or for a rainy day. You don't get those opportunities anymore because you may be unemployed or you may be underemployed. It never ceases to amaze me when I go to the grocery store. There are a lot of guys, and it's universally almost all guys. Every once in a while I'll see an older woman, but they're pretty much about 10 years or so older than me. Now, some of them are retired, and just because I talk to a lot of those old guys, it's good to get perspective sometimes. And I always have. I've always been type to just kind of get to know people. But, some of them will tell you they just work to get out of the house and have something to do because they've been retired and they had good jobs. And some of them will tell you they need to work to supplement their Social Security because they don't have any retirement savings. They don't have any savings, some of them at all. And it's a shame. It's a shame that this is one of the things that I find interesting when people want to come to America and they, because this is the land of opportunity and holds so much promise. And for a few people, it does. And certainly if you were born into money or you're old money, the world is your oyster, particularly America. But for a lot of these folks, and you see it sometimes, and these folks will snap. I know I was recently watching something on YouTube where a gentleman had come from Afghanistan as a refugee and had a little run-in with the police, and he was unalived. One of the things that he said before that all transpired, the kinetic part of all that, was that why did they bring him here if there weren't going to be opportunities? I'm paraphrasing, of course, and the fact of the matter is nobody brought him here. I mean, I guess they gave him the choice, and possibly because of his collaboration with the Americans, maybe he didn't have much of a choice, but I'm sure there were probably other opportunities to go to other Western cultures. But the fact of the matter is, for a lot of folks, it is not easy to get ahead, particularly today. And when you have a lot of strikes against you, it's not easy for a native-born person to get ahead, let alone somebody who's coming from another country, even if there are advantages built into our system for people like that. And I know there are, and I know we all have different feelings about that. I'm going to leave the politics of that out of this. This is really about, what work means, particularly as a man. And your identity is wrapped up in what you do. I mean, if you ever go anywhere when you get older, it may not be the case when you're younger. People typically ask you stuff like, where do you go to school, or where are you from, stuff like that. But as you get older, the first thing people usually ask you after your name is, what do you do for a living? And if you ask me, most of what we do for a living isn't living at all. And I'm not going to belittle how people earn money. I mean, we all need to make money to live. But the fact of the matter is, when you look at some of these positions out there, are they really bringing any benefit to society? Are they bringing anything to our civilization? Are they moving us forward as a people? And those, I guess, are all open questions. And maybe that's why some people, some folks are wired so that they don't need any kind of satisfaction from their job. It's outside of a paycheck. And, I really admire people like that. I've never been like that. I've made compromises for what I've done to earn money in terms of whether or not it would sit well with me. And that's the kind of person I am. I believe in, protecting my conscience and being able to live with myself. And when I put my head down at night, I like to sleep comfortably. But there sure have been some sacrifices in terms of salary and, my earning potential because of it. And at the end of the day, this is exactly the reason why I'm sitting here in my house, which is half empty, divorced and unemployed, is because I made a lot of bad choices. And sometimes you think you're making good choices when they're maybe not in your best interest. At any rate, I don't want to belabor it. I just wanted to give basically an update and kind of talk about it with y'all. And if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, consider subscribing, and definitely leave comments how you feel about our current employment situation and the state of the world in general. I appreciate it, and I will see you all down the road.